Hello, I am very glad to see you here. We are beginning our course today, and I hope that you will be interested and I hope you will enjoy it. Today, we shall speak about Russia, the country in which Stalin was born. By the end of the 19th century, Russia was a troubled country. It was a huge and continuously growing empire. In this map, you can see the stages of the expansion of the Russian Empire. This huge empire was an absolute monarchy ruled by Emperor Nicholas II. Nicholas was a weak and incapable head of state. You can see him here with his wife Alexandra. There were no elected bodies at the national level. At the local and provincial levels, there were zemstvos, elected district and regional self-governing assemblies. They were introduced by the reforms of the late 19th century. These were not legislative bodies. They had no power. They could only raise funds for local needs and for implementing improvements. Russia was a rich country. Look at this palace. It was the Petergov Palace, built in the 18th century. The monarchy had enormous resources and riches. There were many such palaces. This is just one of them. But at the same time, the empire was crumbling. What you see in this picture is the emperor and his family heading to attend the celebration of the tricentenary of the Romanov dynasty in 1913. You can see they walk on the carpet, but look at the plastering of the wall. Okay, it was a back entrance to one of their palaces, but still, that should not have happened. And Russia was poor at the same time. The country's peasants were very, very poor. They were former serfs. They were freed in 1861 by reform. But they did not get any land. They had to pay the state for it. This so-called restitution payments could go on for several decades. And even when the payments were finalized, the land was not given, was not transferred to individual families as their private property. It was given to village communes. These village communes then distributed and redistributed the land. Peasants had practically no legal rights. This is a picture of a village commune. You can see they are tough guys and they redistribute the land according to their wishes. But Russian gentry, landowners or former landowners, was not in a good state either. Even before the liberation of serfs, about a third of their estates were mortgaged. The economy based on serfdom could not sustain the gentry's lifestyle. After the liberation of serfs, many peasants chose to earn money for their redemption payments in towns. The majority of landowners could not cope without their labor. This picture, an aristocrat's breakfast by Russian famous artist Pavel Fedotov, shows a guy who still has some of his former riches. He has a rich gown, some of his furniture, but he obviously doesn't have any money. He doesn't have anything to eat in the morning, and he's scared to show to his coming visitor what he's actually eating. The Russian army was the pillar of the system. It was often used against disturbances at home. From the mid-1880s to 1903, this happened about 1,500 times. The soldiers were brave, but the army's military record in the 19th century was not particularly good. one should not be surprised. Russian soldiers were illiterate peasants who used to serve for 25 years. Only in the 1860s, compulsory 6-year military service was substituted for recruitment. But soldiers were still poorly equipped, and their training was often inadequate. They had no rights. They were often humiliated and sometimes beaten by officers. They also had to grow their own food and repair their clothes. Some officers insisted on modernization, but it never happened.